Hello and welcome back. Starting this video a little earlier than what I usually do. 8:30, 8:40 maybe. It's not really because there's a whole lot of sales, and the sales would be over 3 days. I did not make a sales video for Saturday for stuff that would need to go out Saturday. And I did not ship out Saturday. Sales were that low Friday to Saturday, Saturday to Sunday, Sunday to right now. That low. 21. I'm sorry. 22. It was 21 right before I started making this. Maybe 10 minutes before I started making this. So it's 22 for 520. So that's under 24 average. For any reseller, we'll take it. There should be 5 and change over 2 days by average. Now, granted, my 365 days, which this day is technically not done, but my total of sales wise throughout that entire year time frame is almost 92,000. That is not that much more than the 88 and a half of what I did for the totality of 2024. When in a video I wrote that I want to or try to double it or 50%, whatever I wrote for that, I'm doing probably the same amount of work and getting about the same amount of dollar results. Now, granted, I'm a little more picky about what I'm picking up. It's not as many $12, $15 items, and I still do pick those up if they stand a chance to sell relatively quickly. And it's not a big difference if they don't. I'm not buying based off of a whim or based off of, well, if you're here long enough, you'll know that I scan, and if it doesn't scan, or if it doesn't come up on scan, if it doesn't have a barcode, then I use Terapeak or I hand type. So a lot of the stuff, matter of fact, I just sent out an offer on that Never Ending Story book, the first American edition. And I think it's up for like $175. And if you're new here, I paid $1.50 for it. And that's just one of many higher end books that I have and I acquire for inexpensive. And to further with that, I live relatively close to a lot of thrift stores here in Northeast Ohio, east of Cleveland. Bigger point of the start of this before I get into the 22 of what sold for a 3-day weekend, it should be well over 30. I don't control that, and I say the best you can do is keep buying, keep posting. Where I was going with this, that is the sales. Looking at that, and I wrote this in several comments on YouTube on completely unrelated reselling stuff. If you want to know on how the economy is doing or what's going to happen, talk to a small-time reseller. Talk to someone who makes videos. And they will tell you. Now, granted, my sales are up a little compared to what an entire year would be for all of last year to what an entire year would be up to date, up to this morning, 365 days. Kind of have to, roll with the punches. And not every reseller has a massive. I didn't start off by any loan money. I just started off with original capital of stuff I had years ago. Matter of fact, it was neckties and flatware. Years and years and years ago. Well over 20 years ago. and just kind of built from there. Now, as of recent, yeah, as soon as you get a couple sales, you have a little bit of capital money. And the more experienced you get, the more attuned you're going to be on what you want to buy to sell. If you wrap your capital up into inventory that's not selling, that's sitting, or null, N-U-L-L, null money. Null money is not money. So the point of this intro was sales are down a little. Welcome to the ebb and flow show. They can go right back up and they can go right back down, but they are substantially below the entirety of average. Substantially. So last year I did 88K, and if I just do a screenshot of my most recent of the 90 days, it's like 20,000. 20,200. So that's 81,000. So compare, if we do all that math, and then there's 490 days and some change, five extra days, and that still doesn't add up to a whole lot more. It's 8 to 10,000 less, but it's showing 4,000 more. Either way, let's find out what sold. Starting off with a non-media item. So I probably have, if we take out any of these sunglasses and line glasses, I probably have like 400. And there's some sewing patterns, but still probably like 400 first-class items. And this is one of them. This is Mary, Joseph, Baby Jesus, I guess. Well, that's what's in the title. 23. The Pyramid DVD, $10. Now, if you're new here, I do free shipping on everything except auctions. And I round up or round down. That was $9.90, so it's $10. The other thing was 23 even. Matter of fact, a lot of the sales are best offer solid dollar amounts. So I have or best offer automatic on my listings. And a lot of them are at that very, very low cutoff of what the lowest is. That's another kind of good way on how to gauge. If you do that, and you see the amount of best offers, that things that have sold via best offer, especially automatic, and you look at what the price was and what it sold for, and you're like, oh wow, that's way low. That's almost at the bottom of the threshold. It kind of gives you an idea how much money people really aren't spending. However, media, there are some categories that will just always sell, regardless. Maybe not as often, but there are some that always will. And eBay, unlike a lot of other platforms, typically is cheaper. So people who are looking for secondhand sourced, not just secondhand sourced stuff, they're going to want to pay less. And the thing about reselling is there's a lot of places, a lot of things people sell on these platforms are not on shelves anymore, retail shelves. So when it comes down to physical media, music, DVDs, audiobooks, books, that kind of stuff that I sell, I have no idea. I mean, I listed some of those Nancy DVDs, which you can see in the community post. Some of those are 12, 15 years old. Most likely, they're not going to be on shelves anymore. And that's why this stuff sells. If you're buying stuff that's still on a shelf or in like one of those large Walmart DVD bins right now, and if you go there and go buy, Hiko Pico does the Tuckamagoo, whatever the movie is, it just got off of the mainstream shelves, and now it's in a big bargain bin. If you go out and go buy that, it's going to be $3 on eBay. So that doesn't make sense. There are a lot of those DVDs from a couple years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Those people that are very, very well versed in DVD media can go through those bins and pick the 3 gems out of 600, 1,000, however many there are, right? But off topic, find some more stuff. This is one I just got. I think it's in 2 sourcing videos ago. Chattanooga, Tennessee, 14. One for the older crowd here. Urea Heap, 25. Perfect Blue DVD, 23. The Pregnancy Pet DVD, 14. Information Society CD, 14. A Weave Compilation DVD, 21. Illusion CD, 10. Becoming a Superhero Book, 20. Frank Sinatra and Count Basie CD, 12. Boss Ket Book, 33. Blues Clues Sealed, 29. The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich 2-volume set, 64. So I got these maybe 3 months ago. So it was this 2-volume set and another 2-volume set of something completely different that those sold the other 2-volume set. Maybe it was 3. But they sold pretty quick in a couple days for $75. And I got those at the Village discount, which I was just at not this past weekend. Actually, no. Wow, it's been 3 weeks now since I've been there. But that is almost an hour from here, and it's right up the valley from where we used to live in an area called MediaMan Valley. Stan Hewitt Mansion, Stan Hewitt Hall is there. And Stan Hewitt is, I want to say, I know I posted this is another video of a different time I went down there to MediaMan Valley. I posted a little screenshot that Stan Hewitt, I believe, is the nation's 11th largest mansion. Something like that. But anyhow, these sold. And I did take an offer on these. Yeah, I wasn't out that much more. I think they were listed for 72, 74. And they weren't gaining a lot of views over that 3 months, however long they were listed. But yes, for books wise, this is a bulky book for me to keep around. Bulky really doesn't press too much if they're 50, 60 bucks. The Boy, Bull, Fox, and Horse book, 21. So a box of 13 of these little eraser pencils. So I got a big old bag years ago. Again, when I used to sell a lot of home and office goods and drawing stuff and things like that before I got into media. Whole bag, there was probably 20 of these boxes. So after I open up all the boxes, I see that some of them are missing, some, and then eventually I filled the boxes back up to be the regular 12, what there should be. And then I was left with another certain amount that would not fill an entire box or boxes, or however it turned out, to where now I just sell these with 13 of these pens. That way I don't have a box of like 3 left over, whichever. But $30. Shaquille O'Neal in the movie Shaq DVD, 17. Sold my first of those 45s that I have for 15. Sadie. And speaking of, the lot of 115 that I have, those are all the ones that have the picture sleeve. That does have a bid. It hasn't garnered much of anything. It does have a bid. That's where I charge for the shipping for it, because it's 99 cents starting for the auction. I'm not super pressed if I don't get, oh man, there's 115. I should have gotten 115 plus. I don't care. I want that chunk gone. So this is one of the ones that I recently got in a sourcing video. Well, in a recent sourcing video, this is the one that I just got. This one was 53 and what it sold for. And the other one that's listed is like 75. You know, so when I'm buying these sets for $1 and they could sell like that, that's why I stick with physical media. Tiffany, 13 bucks. Nothing international. Out of 22, if I go any day last week, 1/4 of the sales on any given day of the 8 to 12 selling a day, 2 or 3 would be international. That could be what it is. Maybe there's a bug in the eBay international program. I don't know. No idea. So for the most part, that's going to wrap that this one up. 46 minutes, right? So I've mentioned it before. So this will be cut down to maybe 20. So there was a lot of cutting, and I chop out a lot of things like that. But now I'm getting into what I do regards for videos, which isn't really helping you because you're watching this video to kind of learn on stuff to look for if you're a physical media seller and all that stuff, right? So that wraps that one up. If you like what you heard, like what you saw, or even didn't, let me know. Leave a comment. Funny thingy. That one, I don't get many of those. Subscribe, share. They're all free. Helps me, helps you, help me, help you. Got it? Peace house. Thank you.